Hi, in this unit we are going to find out how to get your laptop all ready for this course. Okay, I'm going to talk about how to get Ruby first. That's the first thing to do. So I'm assuming that you're using a Windows laptop. It can be Windows 7, Windows 8, or even the older Windows XP. Shouldn't be a problem. Now, go and download Ruby. Right, this is the location, rubyinstaller.org. Now click on it, rubyinstaller.org/downloads. Now there are various versions of Ruby. Probably, okay, it doesn't really matter which version you're going to use for this course because what we're going to cover um, won't touch on the differences between the various versions. So you might want to get the either 2.1.6 or 2.2.2. Just get this, just download this. Now there's this other version, if the 64-bit version. This is a 32-bit version. So the 64-bit version can work only on 64-bit operating systems. But for this course, we don't really need the additional features. So you can just download the first one. So click on it and just save it somewhere on the desktop. So I've actually gotten the installer already downloaded. So it is an exe file. I'm going to step 2 now. How do you install Ruby? Okay, pretty straightforward. Just click on OK, accept the license, glance through it. This is the part which I want you to pay attention. Now this is the default location which the installer has chosen for you, C drive/ruby22, which stands for version 2.2. I want you to check this one, add Ruby executables to your path. Now this is important. This is important because we are going to run Ruby from the command line. So make sure you check this, click on install. Alright, and then everything is going to be quite straightforward. You're going to get a new directory called C/ruby22. Okay, now for this course, we won't be focusing on an editor. We won't be focusing on what we call an IDE or Integrated Development Environment. Okay, so just click on finish and that's it. Ruby is already installed on your Windows machine. I'll show you how to run it later. So the focus is not going to be on the editor. You can either use Notepad, Notepad which comes with Windows, or I'll recommend a color editor, an editor with colors, which really makes it so much easier to do work. So do a search for Notepad++. This is a free software. Go to the download page and download probably the latest version of Notepad++. Okay, it is a free piece of software and it is quite useful. You can use Notepad++ for any kind of editing, just a normal text editor, not specific to Ruby. Now, after that, it will be probably, I've created a temp folder here. You might want to create a temp folder for your work for this course. Okay, I call it TMP. Just create a temp folder where you put all the files associated with the course. Okay. Now, by default, a .rb file is not associated with anything. Okay. You may want to associate a .rb file with Notepad++. Up to you. You may want to. Okay, I've created a .rb file here. When I double click on it in Windows Explorer, I don't see anything. What do I mean? I mean is RB file is not associated with any program for now. So you can select a program from a list of installed programs and choose here Notepad++. Okay, and check this box here. Always use the selected program to open this kind of file. Now this is useful because from now onwards, when you double click on the .rb file, it opens in Notepad++. It's very convenient. You see the advantage of using Notepad++ over Notepad. You get colors. Okay, the keywords in Ruby are in dark blue. The commands, this is a command, right? In green and stuff like that, and you can easily change the. You can play about with this editor. It's actually quite straightforward. You can change the size of the of the tags and stuff like that. Okay, very easy. Another way, of course, is to right click on an RB file and select Edit with Notepad++. Alright, and Notepad++ allows you to open multiple files at one time, not like Notepad. Okay, you have to open, for the case of Notepad, you have to open one file in one Notepad windows, which is a bit irritating. So you can do this once you have created an RB file. It is not compulsory to call your Ruby file something.rb, but it's conventional. When you see a file something.rb, you know that it contains Ruby source code. So next, we are moving on to how to go to the command line. Now, most users probably will not get a chance to use command line unless you are a developer. So how do I go to what we call the command line or the MS-DOS prompt? Click on Start, CMD. Okay, type CMD, and that is your really ugly command line. By default, it's going to be black and white. I've customized it so that I prefer yellow text. It looks a bit more obvious to me. So this is a command line window. If you really want to, you can left click on this icon on the upper left corner. Select properties. You can change the font size. You can change the colors of your screen text. Okay, like what I've done, I've used yellow. The default one is white. Okay, so then when I close it, the next time I open it again, CMD, it's going to open. It's going to use my new colors. All right. So a few DOS commands. These are what we call DOS commands. Now dir is a DOS command to show the directory contents of the current folder. This is the current folder. Of course, it's going to be different for your case. It's likely to be c/user/your user ID. Okay, whatever you're logged in as. So dir stands for directory. You hit enter, it basically shows the files in the current directory. CLS is clear screen. And the other one which is very useful is CD, change directory. So I'm going to change directory to c/temp. Okay, no, tmp, because this is my temporary directory for my Ruby course. CD means change directory. So now this is my new current location. Okay, this is my new current location. I do a dir, I see my two Ruby files there. Okay, method examples.ruby and temp.ruby. You can always visualize the same thing using Windows Explorer. So this is a graphical way to look at the contents of a folder. This is the, if you want a textual way, dir. Okay, it's up to you. So you can work in either mode, but when you run a Ruby program, you have to start from command line mode. So you have learned a few DOS commands: dir, cls, and cd, change directory. Okay, so this is getting to command line. This is what we call the command line. Okay, it looks a bit intimidating at first, but trust me, it's really not that difficult. So there are two ways to run Ruby. One is what we call the interactive mode, or IRB, which stands for interactive Ruby. And the other one is what I will call normal mode, the mode which you use when you want to run normal Ruby programs. So perhaps you may want to start interactive Ruby. You want to start interactive Ruby by typing IRB. You see the prompt has changed. The prompt has changed, meaning that you're no longer in DOS, you're no longer in command mode, you're in interactive Ruby mode now. Now, if you get get out by typing exit. Okay, if you get an error message when you type IRB like that, IRB is not recognized as an internal or external command. Now, if you get that error, it simply means that during installation of Ruby, when you ran the Ruby installer, you forgot to check the second box. Okay, and your Ruby directory c/ruby22 is not placed into your path. Okay, and all this path stuff, I don't want to discuss that now. Okay, so this is in interactive Ruby mode. It's a very nice place to try new things. You can do stuff like, this is like a calculator. If you want to experiment with what happens when you multiply a string by 2, or if you want to try, you know, an array and you want to retrieve the fourth element of the array and stuff like that. Very useful mode to try certain concepts to see that it works or not. So this is the first way you can use interactive mode. A normal mode will be you already have a RB file. Okay, let me open temp.rb in Notepad++. Basically, there is what we call a method, some code here. I'll talk about methods during the course itself. So in this file basically can in this case this file can't run. Let me edit it a bit so that it runs. It puts to Fahrenheit 32 degrees Celsius. I'm pressing Ctrl S to save it. So what I've done is I've written a RB file which contains a method and a statement. I'm going to run it. I run it from command line using ruby space file name temp.rb. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so there are two commands here, ruby file name or IRB to enter interactive mode. Remember, you can type exit to get out of interactive mode. Look at the prompt. Okay, the prompt may look a bit different from mine. Your prompt may look different from mine because I did some basic customization so that the prompt looks like 2 bigger than signs. Yours could be something in front of a bigger than sign. Okay, if the prompt looks like this, you are in command line mode or DOS mode. If the prompt looks like this, you are in interactive Ruby mode. Okay, so that's all I want to cover for this unit. So in the next unit, we'll start talking about variables and stuff like that. And armed with this knowledge, you are in a good position to start the course.